Good morning. We've been going through a Ephesians devotional. Hopefully you've been encouraged by this. We're going to be looking at the first few verses in Ephesians chapter 5 this morning. But I want to start in the last verse of chapter 4 because I think it flows right into chapter 5. Verse 4:32 says, "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you." So our call there is to be compassionate because God has been compassionate. Follow God's example in 5:1, Paul says. "Therefore, as dearly loved children, and walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us as a fragrant offering and a sacrifice to God." When we look at what Christ and when we think of what Christ has done for us, that he gave his entire life up, that he suffered and died to reconcile us to the Father, to put us in a right relationship once again with God. He expects of us to appreciate that. And how do we appreciate that? By being gracious to one another, by sacrificing for one another, by being loving and kind and compassionate to one another. So our Christians, brothers and sisters, deserve our respect, our love, our forgiveness. We might wrong each other, sometimes unintentionally, sometimes even intentionally. People have wronged us, and yet we're called to forgive because we know that we have not only sinned out of ignorance against God, but we have willfully sinned, and yet God sent Christ to die for us and has forgiven us. He doesn't say, "Nope, you messed up that one time. You're done." And that's how our attitude comes off a lot of times to other believers. We say, well, what they did was too much. But no one could ever harm us in the way that we have sinned against our Creator, right? So if God can forgive us, then we can not only forgive others, but be kind, compassionate, loving, caring, that we're actively building up and restoring the relationships that are around us. Not just saying, okay, I'm not going to hold a grudge against you, but to be proactive and forming a bond of love and truth that we have in Christ. Have a blessed day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.